Okay, good morning, Facebook viewer. We're going to start Gishila Sunday class, and we will begin with the short recitations. If you have a book provided by TMBCC, we will start from page number 10. We'll say in Tibetan 2 times each verse, and afterward we'll say in English 1 time.
It's 10 o'clock.
I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, fear bias, attachment, and anger. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, encircled by the four continents, surmounted by the sun and the moon, I visualize this Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy the pure land. Idam Guru Dana Mendala Kame Adaya.
Oye, está lo 아까 오야. 근데 다 로만 돈이 가지고 다리 돈이 보면 돼. 약고스라 정말 남지 가정 마시고 나서 진짜 로마 특깔 가지고 내 남고 진짜 로마 봄 진짜 로미 특깔이 어제 지금 다리도 다리도 소이게 소런 걸리 소소랑이 소지 랑징 심지 다음 지 리라 포벨 지 더스로 니와 그나 님이 오르셔서 님이 만바용 좀 해와 저거 너지 진짜 로미 특지션로 같더니 에너지 나자도 파버도 당성은 나자 당소에 에너지 심지 담준지 어떤 나단 능을라서 바탕 좀 해서 냠 들리지네 에너지 다리던지
Good morning to you all, and thank you for joining me in this other space for today's Dharma discussion. Before we started today's text, I'd like to request you all and join me in to practice the Aryatara mantra recitation, and please apply whatever the pure view, the philosophical view in terms of the understanding the ultimate nature of reality, and then apply that as your fundamental and foundation or the base. Then visualize that above you in the space, and there appears a vivid image of Aryan Tara. And then from her heart chakra radiates a light, and then the light radiates reach all sentient beings in all directions across the universe, and then visualize that, and just like the sunlight, right? When sun arises and the sunlight hits on each object and respectively, and then make everything alive and penetrating and visible. And similarly, and so imagine this the sufferings and difficulties, any dismay or stress is like a darkness, whichever the sentient being, whoever experiencing is like a darkness. So as soon as the light from the heart chakra of Aryan Tara reaches each sentient being and respectively or individually, then all their sufferings and be removed. And particularly given the fact of today, nowadays that the COVID-19 pandemic is still around. So imagine that the lights and the lessons of the Aryan Tara, such as like the nectar, transformed it in the form of nectar and light, and reach each individual being who are suffer or scared of the pandemic. And so then imagine or visualize that just by that very instant touching, all their sufferings be removed and the fears have been vanished, and then also to be enjoy and appreciate their well-being. And so then recite mantra and with these visualizations or meditation.
근데 타마 호와로도 내가 심지 나빠지니 빠니도 날리 타지 로이는 말이와 타도 쇼메 벌쇼스니 어떤지 저 dom나 요거스 뭐지 좀 타마
Yeah. So at the end of your meditation with the recitation of Ariya mantra, remember to the dedication and the dedication and the essence of the dedication is may the merits you accumulated through this practice transform the power and so in the with that power and the spiritual power and all the sentient beings are free from the suffering and particularly the illness, and then they obtained or regained and their desired health.
Tore dona tamje de ma so yi ge je la ram du da re so ha da re so ha da re so ha da re so da re so ha da re so ha da re so ha da re so da re so
야, 다 같은 좋던데 마음 로고.
Let's just start from where we left last time.
다 같은 아주 저던 로한테 단다 샴바. 공동식으로 샴바 공동도 시험도 근데 샴바 공부 지 반윤 다들 마시고 근데 다 전 교원들 별로 교실 발라전 랑 교실 발라 샴바는 중원도 로자 다 샴바 때도 다 가정들이 마 송리 저도 아니 근데 part 인사를 시송실스 저 동화도 시송아 샘들 니즈 다데 아니 된 상처 사회 셰르 첨부 등 담비 짐바 오지 당스 다데 강네 티 파윤 지원조 아니 지 기타 상지 상망보라 짐비 초바지알레 샴바 패키지 이점지라고 공부하는 파윤디 치가서 와 손성도 아니 지당 아주 샴냥지 검네 자기오르즈 로또 공부에 임증가르즈나 다 손음지 초던 시촌이中国를 디체들스 손음지 초조버시 발라지 소파르도 특별나네 짐바치점 조바 삼든디나네 아니 지금 파신 특별나네 다 셰르기 바로 드시면 삼든지 바로 드시면 삼든지 바로 드시면 자가자가서 저도 손음 어떻지네 손이 조버시 발라 바로 드시면 바트 원들로 요래 된자다 다 상주 셈비 라미옹 바길라키 와라 바로 드신 바트 라장고 요레스 다 바로 드신 바트 장오시 발라 당보 홍나 아니 상주 셈 코랑 길라키 와라 다 마르시 진짜 제리망 달라 소방원데 도고엔사 어디다 바로 공부를 바로 지나면 쉐기 요레스 그래서다 코럼로 당당 시나 소소 공절 소로 바로 어때네 데인데 데섬 섬로 당에 럼베지네 로아시 요레스
그런地方的这个经济너무 뽑아
가정 참 아니 참도 요도 다다데 다치 땅 뭐저 땅이 교대 땅당 산에 저 다다 아니 주셔 땅아 교대 저다 되는 게 있지만 참 되는 거 놓고
Before we read the text, let me just quickly remind you the key point and that we are trying to understand. So first of all, we know at the moment our objective of the discussion and is meditation of kindness. In other words, how to meditate, how to practice meditation and, on kindness and compassion. And in order to understand, in order to pursue this very objective meditation of kindness, we do have to understand its benefits. So we have discussed about how beneficial this meditation could be. For instance, like we have talked about it. So among the if you compare with take all kinds of all possible amount of the jewels and pile them up and make an offering in the material form to the Buddhas, and the merits of the kind of benefits that you received, if you compare to a moment of meditation on kindness, is uncomparable, and that's because the material and the offering and is limited. But the meditation on compassion is transformative, and so therefore it's the limited as far as the benefits is concerned is limitless. So we do need to understand this, and because we need to inspire and get it become inspirational and have a strong reason to support us and get ourselves always to be have this spiritual and enthusiasm. So for this reason, yes, to understand before we practice the meditation, we have to see the benefits. And then essentially we know, and our problem is the creator of all the problem is self-cherishment, and the sources of the ultimate causes of the benefits for ourselves and others is the others' cherishment. So we need to switch off this attitude, and so in order to do that, and we need to practice or adopt all kinds of technique and to help us to achieve our goal. And also, in other words, that our goal is to achieve the Buddhahood, and the way to achieve Buddhahood is we need to accomplish the accumulation, the practice of accumulation of two, accomplish the two accumulations or collections. So that is the collection or accumulation of merits and the collection or accumulation of wisdom. And specifically speaking, that we do need to practice 6 great perfections. The 6 great perfections if we divide them into and expand them and try to understand them in the context of these 2 accumulation of the Mahayana practice, we know that the generosity and moral ethics and the patient tolerance and the joyful perseverance and the heart of the meditation. Those 5 and the 4 and 5.5 great perfections are aimed to all perfection with the end result of our achievement or accomplishment of merits, collection of merits, and then the wisdom and the last perfection of wisdom. So practice of the wisdom will in result the accumulation of the great perfection wisdom. So yes, to understand that, so we know, and the bodhicitta is the result the great perfections. If you know this is in a sequence, sort of how they relate to each other, how the correspond. For example, like the 7 point of quintessential instructions, such as like say, began to meditate on, I recognize and all sentient being has been your mother, so is mother or has been your mother, therefore all mother, treated them as your own mother, and then see their kindness and try to repair their kindness and so on and so forth. So if we know this, how they relate to each other, I think it would be very helpful for us to implement them in this technique in our daily practice.
다 가서 아주 돈도 돈 사서 통다 연지 돈나 대교면 같이 물셔. 오나 리 저터도나 동나다 리동 같이 지바당 링을 있으면 리동을 셔봐 리깔 동거자 동업고비 노그나나 산지게 송나 가르잖아. 당년 로와 탐지기 녀르 소위 예진기 리스 전에 시당 근데 로지 간전기 노래요. 종화 첨부 저는 고나 조당 천나 조 남정하 조니 심진 탐지 녀르 소위 소와 대비진의 상지지 생화 와 당니기 리정 심진 탐지 녀르 소위 진길 시송아 당시 오단데 산지게 송고 나나 가르송 리 가다 동고르 리 동동도 베 하나 소소 곰자르소 가르지나 아니 종화 첨부도 조고 심진 탐지 그 리토르세 발라 로치아 나진 데데니 동는 로아 탐지 녀르 소위 예진기 리스 저르지 녀르 소위 예진기 이제 심진 탐지가 강도라 강도 발라 강 진리와 된리가 니지 모는 자고래서 그래. 근데 도지 jansen 도구 나나 가르잖아. 종아 첨부 나 종아 첨부 조티 다 쪽지 보내 직다 갱이야 기월세 받은 가도 리 소르세 받은 삼촌 종아지가 라틴이 종다고 그래. 자동화도 네트워드 어떤 나지 천나 쪽지 안에 되게 남방나 쪽지 보내甚至都是过的，对对，你中华全部那对当时去过的，我得对，只能我们讲过的，我们讲俺就理动就是说，咱们说理跟大家这个教的这嘛的，上路当这个呢，理把说别，上路当呢，我们讲是这当这个地当哪把他们的，我们叫做我们把这个啦的呢，样子，地错上不嘛当，就通当的呢，样子，我把这个啦这个呢，那这边实用的，嘛多，那这样做。地做忙不就当上路这个没把大家这作为的那一块的去把你可那个一块让是吧？但对我们这那么的什么拿头路那就用过嘛多，这个什么当时个这个什么个一啦，差一就想过嘛，对这的对嘛就是一了上路当的什么了的下个今年下个的样子什么嘛几把今年少今年这把这，要那不把他那个干嘛这个这样路的这样。yang karma yang diri tigang yang berzong tinggi cina ni rembe ngo to seri song ni chamsula susu semtong la ngiwan ru zun tent ku yor te chada ni ta tanda an li tongwa sisu li gom susu da bo li pa gom ne li te li pe chi semji ro thamchula kang do pa thamchi pa jongwa chitang sa dang me tang long ta te ge ngiwan ru chi ta di ona chu chi na ta da yong o te ge me wa chi thumna yo yor sira.
Okay. I think we'll probably have read this, but I see this is so critical, so therefore let's go back and read it one more time. How about to just go to your translation page 61, and we'll start with the array of the Tree Trunk Sutra towards the end, the fourth line from the bottom to the top. So again, we're talking about here how to practice the generosity and in terms of to achieve our goal of the great perfections. So you know that's one of the things how to. How to your body possession and virtue in general. What's going on? Why is it echo? The way we can practice in to get began to engage in practice of kindness is. We begin with the generosity and how we engage in the practice of the first great perfection of generosity or giving, and according to this text here is that you began to take whatever you have, like so your body that you own it, and that anything that you possess, of course you own it, and the merits that you accumulated. So you take them as the objects of offering and offer to then began your training of the generosity. According to Buddha, and he taught us in the array of the Tree Trunk Sutra, he says, you should transform yourself into a wish-fulfilling body that sustain all wandering beings. And the Sutra of Vajravikur Banner says, just as through various means and through various manifestations, the four great elements sustain all sentient beings. A Bodhisattva transforms his own body so that it is the base for sustaining all sentient beings. So what is here, essentially that when you practice for the individual practitioners such as us, the way we need to practice the kindness is in terms of the technique and can be various, or there's a great variety, and you have all kinds of techniques or you need to pursuing this from various through various techniques. And so that's why, as I said here, for example, that like various means you need patience, and one of the example is that for the four great elements to sustain all sentient being. The various means and all kinds of all this can be should be adopted. The thing is like four elements. The way you practice the generosity and through the four elements, we know all living beings depend upon the four elements: water, fire, earth, and wind. So all this are critical in terms of sustain the life. So bodhisattvas can practice in the meditation. I take it as the object of meditation, and then to achieve the word perfection of generosity. So here we say take our body. That's we own it, right? And how you offer your body to others. And when we say the giving your body, it doesn't mean that you cut your body into pieces and or you do something harm your body physically, in the physical sense, or literally. It is not that. And so here we say that generous or giving away and offering your body to all sentient beings and according to their needs is in the meditation, in the state of meditation, in the state of meditative practice. And so when we say meditative practice, and one thing I like to mention is that we needed to, first of all, get a clear sense of, or in any time, all time, whenever you practice meditation, so you have to first of all have a very clear sense of the object of meditative the observation. Okay, so the object of meditation has to be clear, and then has to be single, or has to be the one fixed the object. The object itself that has to be single and fixed, or is determined. Because if you change the object from time to time and from this to that, switch to this, from this to that, and stability, right? So in order to achieve the meditative stability, and it is crucial for you to choosing the object of your meditative stability and carefully, and then once you finalized it, and then that object of meditative stability, then fix on and your all attentions onto it, and then always it goes back and to work on that same meditative object. So the another thing is that so meditation doesn't mean the successful meditation. It doesn't always mean that it's a long time or many hours. In fact, it's a short period. So as a beginner, it is very useful for you to other than remember that carefully choosing the object of meditative stability, and then fix your attention on that. Then time-wise has to be short. Okay? The meditation session can be very short, like 1 minute or a couple minutes, so you try to work on the quality instead of the quantity. And once you sort of feel that you've been connected to that meditative object naturally, and you began to experience the taste of that stability, meditative stability, or the powers of that very meditation, and being sort of generated through this focused mind onto that particular object of meditation. Here, of course, we talk about generosity, and then you can sort of expand it in your meditation session. So yes, the object of meditation has to be clear. The time is the better to be short, and or the quality is much more important. The quantity, and then the fixed and on. And so you, in other words, so you whatever you practice meditation, your mind has to be very clear and very aware of. So of the very meditation you are practicing. If you kind of feel you are focused, your mind is focused, and you seems doing well, but internally, if you have no clarity, right, your experience of meditation is nothing to do with the clarity, but a kind of some form of stability, no clarity, then that means that's not a form of meditation we are talking about. Although it has benefits. Why? Because you have the stability, it kind of relaxes you, makes you feel good, right, and restful, but lack of clarity, and then you lost the essence of the very meditation practice. So therefore, yes, make sure you know that the crucial difference between your sleeping and your meditation. There's no clarity in your meditation. That means there's no much difference between you are sleeping and your meditation. And so that's the thing, and we need to know that the mind has to be really focused and very much sort of energetic and engaging, and the sense of the power, the zenith, and has to be there. And so yeah, so you take in this context, of course, we take our body as the object of meditation, and then offer to the all sentient being and through various visualizations, and then so this meditation again has to be focused and clear, and has great clarity and stability.
Oh yeah, that's one. Samchin namto dripish yevjin jin lisikir shi songata gangla gangdoki number tonte jonjigli maki karwa parmesi dana setam komdege samchin ponshon we samchin ponshon toala yoshina koga na zose dana yew negirchi shi tang dana gome namki gon namshi namki tehon tang gando namki chatang zandang sambanye tan langdor ni la lang tang Marmin dollar marmetang, Nemen dollar nemetang, down the legion, Trendopa, Kingi and the Euro shows. Ringer develop Bazang, Possum Chinness, Chantatang, Sasun Jonga Chimbota, Nanquajan, the Topper, Semton Potamebai, Namanyeto Sigir Chicks. Silver show, Division, Nanka, Division Nanki Tartapi, Semton Kala Namanta. Tamchin yang and Diwart, Donna Yeto, Sigis, Odan the Bart, that did to pay Nambodo, that league Jimba Tang Tang do, Makpachi.
Let's read how Shantidiva says in Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life says, during the intermediate eons of ferment, may I become and drained for sentient beings who are poor and famished, presence as various necessities, and may I protect those without protection, and be a guide leading those upon the path. may I become a vessel, a bridge, and a ship. For those who wish to cross over island for those searching for land, and a lamp for those needing a light. May I become a bed for those who need rest, and a servant for all who want assistance. May I become a compilation mantras and excellent verses, fabulous, wish-fulfilling trees, and great elements such as the earth. May I be the basis of sustenance for limitless sentient beings, existing for them like space. In this way, just as all realm of sentient beings are infinite like the expanses of the sky, may I become the basis for their sustenance until they all attain the state beyond the sorrow. So, as you can see, and the way or the form of visualization in your meditation, and has been clearly addressed or taught by Chan Diva in the Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life. So here, our object of meditative ascension is the let me see, I'm confused. Akungandi, samjin the social leader, the samjin mukade the camping minimum the samjin social leader.
Social lead samjin tango or samjin jatuta and samjin ton samjin namtun repetion yimjin in the list jersey. That the cars go around to Chitan out of Pombo Leon or leads in it. That the module. That the billion de la Mupai watching in the picture you hold on Tawaina. Simply janky on the picture on Tawaina, the Yvzin or little Yvzin or chop. At the Matata, the Sardinia Lynch for Shata Pombo Jirata, Mataber the Kitchen Gitchini. Government, but strong about the Tangyota, and it takes a Tangu to Tandawat, Jantun, the picture on Togo, Jantun, picture on Poina. Pensun China Mazuta Mother Trees do in a morum lead the picture on the Telatin and I'm switch or Tetane, Chenyan Totons, this command the much in the Kaligani, and Mimombo done so I can Shishi Yondon her also chat of Jonal for the Sazon set Viora, that you more lead the picture down in the Namsu Teletabi, Namsu the picture on the any Tembar, so good Chenyan Toton. To no longer get the Samlomata, Jan Pekona, Tangeta, and other Namji number Sanji Gasha Sanji Jum the Derangazon. Lala Deki Chashin, Lala Tongi Chashin, Simchinam, Don Japan, and Tomani. Sanji Dongson, Jandu Shepate, and Namana Tong, Chini Otan, Simchinam, Sosukyonam, Totokumari, so Satombola Navy, Sambazo, and Chaton Samba, the Tribune, Jandu Chitabu. They said that they did Saparo the Shibatula Supia, Satombo living also. To be some Sambazo, Karasam was that Tamati, Tamati, there's a Namka Tatipi, Semchin Kala, Namkinta, Tamchin, Young and Diwart, Donna Yeto shows, Donna Yetor, Young shows in the door, this good. The biggest Semchin to be Niwa, John Chotoni, long Shui Young Lot charge in the guy March was in the Semchin Youngly, Semchin Tamchin Youngly Mandi part of the Semchin don't jabber short choose in it. That young woman chill them Jimon Jagan. Just told in the water, that's it in the journey. Going to shepherd to Chichimo to the Nata woman with that. That's it. Order. What did that don't rotary? Lee Petro Tong the Lee Gentu the water to Tangazo Damgina, so Rango to not lead the carpet tongue with a tongue to Kali Jago or the Genki to that tongue child rose, Takang child and the young Juta. Lee Korong Sam good on at the young word. Lee the Chaton that Morador, what a Kormako same with Lanayoro. That's also an age. Judgment and Yawa Doa Shawala Sopa, so Nya Zumkanton 샹링가 주 쇼고 나오니 손이 치나는 랑네 베트 깔리 야고르다 데 셈나 소소랑 그 초이도 데자 깔리 잡도 고때 사나도 용고 말 강을 잡도 거리나 전기 또 때리지고나 다 아주 특고 말 때 강저 셈그 차버지로 셈근 전당지로 아주 전기 또 저게 깔리 잡는 때 남성치 셈나 다 때깔리 가용네 다 탕체 용네 연 소소지 로도 깔리 잡는 그 잡도 때 셈근 전당지로 어떻게 하고 리 배주 땅에서 어디 리드 나오다 샤르 리치 톱도 리드 파 배주 땅땅도 때 전든 때 셈 양전 전든 리드 배주 땅에 전기 또 배주 땅 타와는 리드 배 유지 노르도 같이 무지자래 세니 때 삼노 땅 타와나 소소 전기 또 리드 배주 땅을 강을 요 말이 tomato madrid roina Europe yakut tom chintere da yagar lomba tin sawa chimbo tu tin za sonni ta pag chonjo tu nyam thak tin kyang nyam de ni sowa chani machip mang chaw te tang moga te tang thuku marwa te khoram sem bi tang na pe niwa chi yuwa ti gita morong li tu pe chu tang ne mi mongol shi yon de tet yor ne te la mi mongol ka kang li set yor 어때 때 tang pe sum chan de ne te ne jiting na nga zo ka ti yor ta Chetang azu li ta tang me pal na yor tang azu li te ke pento kazi chi yor ta te ale khawro wa.
네. 아까 말했던 공리 제가 상황 되게 좋은데 또 문남디 뭐과 세워주고 돼 감들랑 아주 수준 리당 삼전이가 강 미과리 미남 강레인데 동아데 미남디 삼전 전제를 수준 리리
리람그다 리 땅고 리라 삼다나 nga li thore li de chetang kach len jigni ma chedugda chetang kaching so ane jagum cheona li de gi sana chini jangna pecho kati tang thab gurjina pecho tang thwe ma thar nga ju chi de la se ki yo la ma che khona gi dani ma zone ma ji khat du gur ta sona ta te ta mar yo mar te pecho tang ne jana phanto chi thwaina 어디 시지도 니와데 소소랑라 소놈지 소도 이시 소존도 그래 파쇼래나 한동게 보자 저 지트와서 아니 입지기 리스치 송래 스타트 시월 진짜다 리라 먹니 리트 텐라 텐네 아니 뭐 파셈지 돈 간다 시트 부분도 때 삼노 땅네 어때 양전 삼도 셈나오 땅원이 정이 리드 배치 땅네 심지 전 니와진 니와 삼지 삼땅나다 땅도 알을 뭐 파주 곰치네 다 체델라 정나 푸수 소피데 전도 지트와 가때 마트나라 르베 사탕남지 또바야 콘데 페나 아니 다 사촌종아 첨보는 지지 털속지 지 볼미용 예쁘기나 아니 텔라테네 소소이 나라지 리섬라지 네 카메온 네와나 용거다 또 지와르다 샴다 형지기 장한다 요고 심지 탐지기도 리 땅을 셔발라 심지 탐지 네와당 단나 능어당 잔나서 뭐 나랑 그 돈도 소소 네와당 능어 진짜 소소리다 강아피지 땅 특구도 와 어떤 아주 직바 되지 점핑 학습질라 경우서 되지 용 듣고 왔다.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I need a little verification and that was so clear. So anyway, here in this particular meditation of a practice of the kindness, or love, here you need so in your meditation you need meditate on the all sentient being. That's the object of your meditation, and then your very body is the thing that you're going to take and offer to, right? Or take as some kind of instrument or some kind of supply or need the valuable thing and they give to all sentient beings. So therefore that you need to remember and how you set up your sort of how you created the framework of your own meditation. Right? So think about the sentient being, visualize that's the object of your meditative stability, and then so your very body is use it and as the a form of object of offering and or the tool to serve others. So the very service that you're going to offer to the all sentient being is your own body. And So once you have that in your mind, and as a Bodhisattva's path here, so this is the practice accomplished, advanced intelligent individuals, and very wise and very skillful. So and those wise and skillful beings, and then they can, in their meditation practice, and in order to achieve the purpose of others. Okay? So we always have the two purposes, right? One purpose is the purpose of self, and that means the things are benefits and achieved of ourselves, but others. Here we are emphasizing the purpose of others. So purpose, so in order to accomplish the purpose of others, so in your meditation, and you take your body as the object of the valuable thing, and then to fulfill the various desires and the needs and wantings of all sentient beings in all the time through various ways. So, like Shantideva says here, and then the way you transform yourself accordingly, and based upon the needs of the whole sentient being. So this practice is again, is the it's not for the beginner. It's not a physical sort of actual activity, but rather is the training of your mind. Is to prepare yourself. Once you gain the strength and the power, the true altruism, then you can do something like Mother Teresa, for example, right? And Mother Teresa and it can be herself and dedicate herself to her entire life and serve others, the poor, and help those who lack of protections and so on and so forth. So we know the reason she can do that is because she has this power of the mind. And because her mind has this so strong in the power of generosity, therefore she can sacrifice, and she can leave all her individual benefits behind, but did whatever she could and to serve all others. We look at this in the Mother Teresa example. We know that according to Buddhist literature, and there's no way you can really judge the Bodhisattva's way of benefits others, and this or that. In other words, there's no any really particular way or a dominant way or fixed way to benefit others. And because Bodhisattvas are very skillful and wise, and all actions have been driven by altruism. So therefore, they could be manifested in this way or that way, in various forms and various ways. And even in the highest practice, and Mother Teresa, of course, is the example, and is a more kind of a human context. Is she been there, in person, and gave it and did whatever she could, right? But in a little bit sort of less direct, that according to literature, Buddhist literature, and the highly advanced, accomplished Bodhisattva, they can actually manifest their body as a form of the generosity, or the form of practice generosity, and transform their body into water or into bread, and or into all kinds of food and the things, and provide if it's necessary or needed to others, and help others to free themselves from the suffering. And of course, this is not for ordinary people, and to have a direct pursuing, and but the essential power is there. So the understanding and the power, you have the profound understanding, and then apply the proper and the technique, and you can achieve such power. Then you can physically manifest it in doing such a practice. And so we know that highly advanced Bodhisattva, their mind is this kind of practice is that they try to show the purpose of their practice is not up on to understand the nirvana and then just remain in the peace or the state of the nirvana and the cessation, but rather manifested themselves into all kinds of physical forms, physical ways, and to bring themselves up onto each individual and according to their needs and help out. This is just like His Holiness Dalai Lama repeatedly say, one of his favorite prayer, and he quotes always from Chantidiva, a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life is as long as the space remain, as long as the space endure, as long as the sentient remain, may I live that long and it's all sentient beings, all free of beings from the suffering. So this is again this attitude. This is kind of a mental power, the altruism. We know that our body, here we say, take our body as the object of offering, give it to others. And you may think that that's the right? And attitude, let's say, for example, like a car, a motor vehicle. So you have a motor vehicle, a car, and the way your body is like a car, right? How you use it is totally not up on the car, but it's depend on how you are going to use it, right? Generally speaking, that the way we treat our car, our motor vehicle, this transportation tool, is when we think about do something for ourselves, right, and for our own individual benefits, and we seem to have so much power, and we're so become so excited and become so energetic, and we're willing, and we're happy to do. But when we need to take this body as a motor vehicle and to do something for others, then because of lack of understanding, lack of training, and lack of see the benefits, then we immediately become sort of bored, tired, even feels that why I need to do this, and what's the point? And so we immediately lose the interest, and we don't see how important it is. So like Chantidiva again said in the guided, and those farmers, fishermen, right, and those all kinds of the service providers and or the labor, the workers or laborers, and they work so hard and they get up early and set off to in the case of the farmer, they set out to the field and working hard throughout the day and the tremendous heat and so on and so forth. Right, and the fisherman again sets out to the water. Others, the professionals or the occupations, they do in order to make their living or accumulate the wealth, and they do all kinds of things to help to do. They can somehow just have that energy, have that sort of mental power, and use their body and offer their body and give their body to the objectives they try to achieve. Again, like Mother Teresa. So how come she can do that, right? Her body is just like an ordinary person's body, but the way she uses her body is, and it made a huge difference because of her attitude. And so her attitude is you want to benefit all others, and not reserved for her own interests. So therefore, yes, we needed to understand that this body is limited, and and if you preserve and for the individuals and benefits, it's going to be further limited. But if you transform it and use it and transform it for the benefit for others, and so through the training, you will eventually see that this body really has a tremendous power and has greater value. It can be used to truly fulfill just the examples. And since beginning lesson, we know we took all kinds of forms of the body, right? It's countless numbers we did it, right? But what's the benefits we really have achieved, appreciated, right? And spiritually speaking, it's no much. So therefore, in this now we have understanding and the importance, and we also learned the technique, and so therefore we need to begin to like set our goal and look at upon those good, highly achieved advanced bodhisattva and make prayer and wish that one day we also, through the trainings, through the practice, that we also can able to do things like they did, meaning they can have this spiritual power and skillful means to transform their body into various substance or various things, the values and the benefits others. But we definitely to know that even though for the moment, for time of being, it's just object of prayer. But if we take the training and practice step by step, we will achieve there. We will get there. So I think that's is here, and meanwhile let me share you a story.
any korong hom ya chemo soni ta king ti jimba ta korong ga ji potong ma yubi longchu chama pa jine de samji tamji rewa kong tu go mar mai ma song de ta ta tama korong be sonum ji to nga zo da molum ya chemo tam ne ni su se ba ta de ani ko kyo shima ta garang ani chepen ni lamsong de ni nya chemo ge kyo lang ne langar nya chemo ti kyo lang ko jine da nga kyo nya Joa John, sometimes la Shad Batone, Tigi Longso Gene, Torso. Say Sabi in the Shaso get the Tamchi Joachima, ni Chiki and the Jimbatoni, Tamja, Mombers of Sangi Sala Cobra Show, the Molum Japchene, Mombers. On the Taran, Shasam Vigilati, Chela Nyachambut Kitty, Nyati Monty, your cousin. Di Toma, the Shaga Longcho get the Toma, Koranga de Zambosgo, Koranga de Zambote, and the Nyag, the Digon, the Nyadigon, the Shakati parts, Chetana Park Yungor, the Jenny, and the Mimo, Tom Koranga to Cortujit, such a thing, Memongos, Mogikawa, Sajin, the Jenny, and talk yours. That thing, Jenny, and the Jimat, the Tong, Adizombo, the Shattered Longcho, the Kuruswaro, Joanta, Timol, Molitalatini, Yoshima. So, Ombers of Sangi Sinayan, Korga, Deji Chiburg Tomate, Adizombola Corres, because the Molum Gitters, the Jadang the Tadang that the John Timothy Century and some Molum Yoko Soso money, so some Loyokoton Gomra, or that said the letter John the China, lead the Vegetan, shaded in Yanji John, the Sons Assemblies, Tawachable Lamki, Dundred Rotons, Amjo Quads, and Bashas were Telamolum Yannikiwa Shamanam, Rebbe Beach, the bigger. Satanam beyond the Zotavag, the Nepalum Javana, the drip tapachigration, Sanji Chumdan, the Hopticala Sanji Son, the Martango, Toma, Azu Chipa, Generabe, the Milam Kone Pekio, Toma Panipe Mango, but also Thermometers of Sanjavaro. The Sang Arno, the Rebbe Beach in Dogo, Tensata, Semnanga Tango, Tango, Gomja, so the some Jotola Matangi, Nimach, the Stoka, the Gomja, and the Gomja Vitina, Tamno Tangas. Jampin some Tangana. Or that and that is about on the Shawashiman something in the digital. That are lead the pitch in the pitch with Pentochuate, come to the digituana, Ruby Yaki in the race.
The story is actually in Jakarta, and I guess the Buddha's Buddha Shakyamuni's previous life experience, or the deeds of the Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was still Bodhisattva. In other words, before he became a fully enlightened one. One of the story talks about this Bodhisattva, and his later, of course, he became a Buddha, known as Buddha Shakyamuni. So the Bodhisattva who the previous incarnation of Buddha Shakyamuni, and he served as the king in a kingdom in ancient land somewhere, and where the land had the natural disaster, and according to literature, it was a serious famine. So when the famine or the food shortage took in place, then the people in the kingdom of the land suffered a lack of food. At that time, Bodhisattva, he had this he had this thought that so he looked upon the old beings and know that even if he opened his palace, right, give everything he owned in the palace, but it will not free all the hungry beings, the people who are hungry, and so then he had this strong and altruistic prayer, and so in that prayer he said that he determined that in the future, whenever that this kind of the famine and taking place, with my the present, may I turn into a giant fish, and without exhausting, and the body, and they can offer the meat for everyone who need the food, and without exhaustion. So he had that prayer, and then so according to literature, and so indeed, when the famine took in place, and the Buddha actually able to transform himself into the giant fish, and for 3 days, and then so the people come in and to take the meat from his body, and that way he saved the people from the sufferance of hungry. And interesting enough, and that according to literature, the first 5 people and who pursued and who approached this giant fish and had meat from his body, this giant fish's body, and later on, and it turned to become what we call the 5 good disciples, 5 good disciples of the Buddha. And if you recall the history of Buddha's Shakyamuni's historical figure life story, and we know that the first group, the very first time Buddha taught the Dharma to the first group is the 5 good disciples in Sarnath and Varanasi, the deer park in the Sarnath Varanasi, and So those 5 good disciples, and actually was the reincarnation. They are the reincarnation of those 5 individuals who had who consumed the meat from the giant fish. That's the incarnation of the Bodhisattva, right? Into the Buddha's previous life. And so then that's how the first turning wheel of the Dharma took in place, and in this particular cosmic age. So as the first the teachings on of Buddha ever given and to the mankind. And so the thing is from this story and what we can the lessons, I guess, we can learn or the things we can think about it is that the Buddha and was previously in the of course through the 3 eons and unlimited and countless lifetimes before, he did engage into the all kind of Bodhisattva's practices, the Mahayana thought, right? And then eventually he really reached that point where we will talk about can give his body, take his body as the object of offering and to the object of and where it need to be given. So which is the hungry beings, the beings who are suffered and due to the food shortage. And so this is example and tells us that which of course doesn't apply to our right away in the immediate situation, but this Mahayana teaching and we have heard, right? And the stories we have heard, the techniques we have learned, and the theoretical, the philosophical and discourse we have studied, we know it's possible. It is possible is because from Buddha's history and his life story we know, and the Buddha was so ordinary person, and then he become Bodhisattva, and then it's become more skillful and powerful, and eventually he attended Buddha himself, become perfectly enlightened one. So therefore, in our meditation, when we meditate and practice engaging ourselves in this particular meditation, meaning that and take our body as object of offering and aimed to give it to all sentient beings in our meditation, right? In our meditation through the visualization, and we know we are doing the same thing like Buddha did in his previous lifetime, prior to he becoming enlightened one. So he took the training, and if we did the same thing and the training in our way, just like the Buddha did, and start with now and take our body and make it very valuable and meaningful, and then eventually we will get there, because this kind of spiritual practice and through the meditation and can be progressed and or can be enhanced and can be enhanced and then eventually reach to the infinite level.
Oh yeah, that's totally.
Mm-hmm. No, and do you have a question? Yes. Go ahead.
I have a question for Geshe Kunga. So one of the things that I'm wondering is, given that these meditations on generosity seem so active and they seem like they have a lot of mental kind of activity and different visualizations, I'm wondering if Geshe Kunga can teach us a way or speak with us about a way in which we can make mental and spiritual offerings within the state of stabilized concentration. So can can we make mental and spiritual offerings within a state of a deep state of kind of stabilized concentration? Offerings could be more effective in that state. And particularly, I'm thinking about one of the quotes that we read today about the array of Tree Trunk Sutra. You should transform yourself into a wish-fulfilling body that sustains all wandering beings. Can we do that within the state of a stabilized concentration?
다들 공원인데 저거 뭐뭐 송고노라 다들 전진하면 송상데 정말 대회나 그 제공비 엔토니 다들 미는 장네 아니 수수지 파트는 짐베게 제레 아니 진샤레 아니 짐베 유당 토마티 파서 뭐무식 다 오늘에 제공스고나 선배나는 상호당에 뭐무식 좀 하세 에는 미와디 제가 강라 디 다들 제공자 많이 배지 조금 갑라 다 제공 염나 파티 뭐나 코제 아니 제공은 조금 라 용제는 조금 게 갑들라 아니 다주 본데 다산 세지게 니베 강타랑라 이 수수길비 이거 짐비게 니바스나다 파인데라 용데바 안데시 조금 갑라 용 그래서 말이죠 공통도 요리요
오늘 또다 기타 가서 듣고라 신이즈니 신이세 당고 선득이 세식들 네네 일찍라 삼보 당보 네트 소하나 신이세 때 기타가 그거로 아주 샘트 모여있지 집에를 나도 저도 담보 네트 소하나 다데 샘트 네 담보 네트 디 강나더니 셰르 배주 땅용으로서 언니 한통세대 요거다 한통세대 셰르기 샘 이치라 무비 무파데라 마디위티 마용이 고니 따티 넬리게텔 쇼바치 토워 들 한통세고 한통데 내지네 한통 진네 셀럭님도 종도 드비고니 아니 곰자와 토이나 람지 토바베 야 페라 판도 셈버 실레 한통 종도 드비름 니르디 jel라 겨르신 일로즈나 지르보치기 송요란 단 요네 대파 삼로당네 샘들 예치라니 샘들라니 바로 샘 네마토 가르즈랑 하고 남토쿠페 드라마 트렌치니 샘들 네트쿠모데 가서 쳐서 차가서 곰자와나라 리당 샘이고 남데 네트고 샘트페 가서까지 참로도 띠 참고만 참로도 남토고 제스 당네 로즈라 남토 제스만도 소소탄다 물라 하주공군 하텔에 찌치는 야물성네 네토와나 살레 샘나 샤르토와나 근데 샘도 모여지네 피탐보지네 롱메 마르미나즈 데트나 디 카트게나 아니 하텔라 고비 하티게지 다 yaptan 카톡라 소바 상슬라 소바 그지 니와로도 파르비 데는 하통 쇼바지오나 안티강라테 차시로 차정 알마즈 마도 데페데 로만도 고나 지탈마 돈치 점증 것도 샤요 마트데 샤데테 다 마요 진노모데 타와나 아니 비티강라 쇼나다 지 샤리니 존데 장탄스 장탄다 소바 레베레베지 샘나 탈메 샤트와 종고라 따때 리피션데 어때지네 신이 당통이 당부 신이 되고르지 신이 되타송는데 당통 되고르 이낭 신이 되팔라 당부 샘 나티네 지금 나버셔팔라 아주 지와지로 이치 따바티 키오셔팔 당부 랑아 넬리 마토 바치나테 소소 니와 마토나테 비탕체지네 지마 loktake냐고 때자다 당부 원투기 따바고 원투기 따바서 코텐지 톱샷 톱교때 나라 고고드세레 티 배추치니 따바 티 원투기 따비 근니 랑네 아니 곰니 트니셔널 설호 bet구나 담보 용거랬다 르비치 곰바도 르바도 컴바도 여기는 담보 차로 오르지
그래서 일단 다다 저기 리징기 감데 리징바단에 리인데 조금나니 트라이 간데 지단도 요리요 말이지 딩주 거지
데코 제단 데 바로 디셈바 셀레옹 수티 셰고라 데서 티카티텔라 다 소소르베 센터체 셀랑라 소베 셈나 마지 담보 차네 토바야야 콘드 페소나다 리점발야 톱고 다 집당하니 오범비 톱기 그런 거 준비 당보 셈기 땅에 리 점발 잔도 셰기 리드 베주 땅에 셈 당당 삼자 샘들 니와로 촉소나더니 리드 파땅보다 땅tom니 리드 베야 사통불렘 소나 리드 잔니 지나 향동고 그 야가 잔다 지발서 가도 저 소라 요와 말소 파 판도 진트나 칸체 땅나 마 땅땅나 드니 통화 요르서 베나 향동네 야가 잔다 양도 향동 야가 제 나지더니 리드 파 소치 차시 질 당정나 차시 동 베나 아얀디와가 무기 좀 바탕하러 아야 저 무기 좀 바탕서 고 상주 샘바 통보인자 무기도 양지를 고 통통고다 고 무기도 좀 바탕서 디가 파송의 도즈가 뭐 좀 바탕서 뭐 렌던 못데 도즈가 와 치르기다 저러 네 코티스 세나쇼스가 아카카 되게 코 임바 뭐 그런 거 뭐도 팬통치나 치자면 그 뭐도 팬만 도강도 그 뭐도 저저 따서 또 삼네 데 세나데 쇼스가 또 세나데 쇼디 나면제 나면 되겠다 아니 토마토스 뭐 전착 토마토스 tanto 사토부 선수 샘비트 지통토모 많이 비가서 로이를 좋아하지 말아와 딱 그잖아 요거 당신 지금 뭐만 찍으시네 홈부즈께네 그 요거데 상관되기 되게 되고 이제 뭐 쉐스 근데 요것도 시럽 그래 공라 아니 적색한 거 뭐봐 상관하면 좀 누구시도
어디 가서
아 적색한 거 뭐봐도 상관하면 누구시지 공어도 적색한 데도 상관되기 되다고 쉐고라 여기 포트프기나 라글랭 모스담 누구라 되게 딱 고치기도 내다 공공 딱 적색한 거 뭐봐도 이 상관하면 누구시지 가서 사토 비스도 세비 쉐큐다 가서 수수키고 있라 람레라오치 또 말어 이랑 아주 레벨은 비치 공방 것도 지나 용거
야야 뭐야 first of all actually give the us or so some kind of background information I think before he answered your question directly so we know that the stability, stability meditation or the meditative stability, that's a form of meditation. So it is, we know that we have to know and that is. So if you're familiar, this the meditative stability, generally speaking, and there's a particular term is called shine in Tibetan, and the English of course pronunciation and also says shine. So shine is the common abiding. Common abiding. We needed to know the common abiding and the practice. What is common abiding? Common abiding, very simply put, it is the state where the mind is not wavering, or it's acting. Right? So the mind is not the state where mind is not acting and the mind is not wavering, and that is the kind of characteristics of the common abiding or the shine. And so we need to achieve it first, and then use wisdom. Wisdom is in Tibetan called the Tong. That means special insight. So that's a special insight is to see the actuality or the ultimate reality. So before we achieve that, and then we needed to first have this state of mental stability or meditative stability, and then we can analyze this and or apply wisdom, and then go further and to see the have the direct realization about the ultimate reality. And the reason we can't do this today is because our mind, as soon as we try to analyze this or try to stabilize our mind, we just instead of experiencing single pointedness of our mind, and we experience all kinds of thoughts and the ideas, the mental activities. And then, of course, we don't have any clarity, and then further and to reflect upon and or to meditate on the nature of the reality. And So like the lamp and outside in the sort of in the windy day, and it's highly unstable. But if we be able to make our mind and like the lamp, right, in secure itself in the with the walls, right, and a place where cannot be struck by the wind, then in the context of the highest yoga tantra, the deity yoga meditation, and then we can use that as the mental single pointedness or mental stability, calm abiding, and then with the wisdom, then we can meditate on the deity, our principal deity, and then in the meditation we can directly experience the direct sort of vision, have a direct vision, a vivid vision, the scene of the deity itself, like the face and then the manner and the hands and the gestures and the bodily ornaments and so on and so forth. We all see this. For example, like in the Tara, in the case of the meditation on the Tara, and you can also see that if you have a very stabilized mind, and then your understanding of the nature of reality is profound enough, then you can see the right way and in that state of stability, and then you can see have the direct vision and experience the scene or the presence of the presence of the Tara, like facial expressions, right, and bodily and ornament and so on and so forth. All these things that can be happen. But the bottom line is that this is of course the result, and it's our goal. And once we know this highest spiritual goal and the things can be achieved, then our practically our real job is to practice something and that paves the way for us to lead us to achieve that. So that pave the way, or the pave like the way, or the path is faith, our faith. So our faith is like the sense of trust, and trust the spiritual teachings, instructions, and then more importantly, not just having faith or trust that that's the case, but have the aspiration and have strong and wish and realization for the benefits of all sentient beings. This is like the build a house. So you have the faith, that's the foundation, and then you can build up the buildings based upon the foundations, right? So here when we talk about the giving our body and in the meditation, right? So this is the high level of practice. In your meditation, the stability meditation, or meditative stability, and how you can transform, and into a various objects of offering, and with the transform your body as manifested into all kinds of valuable goods or things and material, and then benefits others. This is again is a higher level of Vipassana practice. It's in a way it's like for the beginner it probably is hard to perceiving and conceiving, hard to conceiving. Why? Because in that stability, meditative stability, and then the way they can perform their bodhisattva deeds is like in terms of give their body, sacrifice their body, is like the way you can think of this. So the way they give their body, right, and as object of offering, is almost like they cut the branches of the tree, right, and give away. We know that if you cut the branches of the tree and give others, it will grow it, right, without the pain, without any a sense of sort of being cutting. and bodhisattvas, they can acting or carried out such deeds in that state of a profound state of meditative stability, and then manifested into various forms and meet the according to the scenario, right? And performing and their practice of generosity, and it's really beyond our the basic human perception. And so yes, that's definitely is possible, but it's a gradual practice. And so even like examples, and Ayadeva, the great master Ayadeva, according to some kind of legendary story, Ayadeva is physically to practice his bodhisattva's deeds of generosity, and somebody approached him, said, "I need your eye," so one eye, and Ayadeva said, I have no vision and I have this trouble, please give me. And then that person asked Ayadeva, so Ayadeva gave it, and he agreed. And then he gave his eye and donated his eye to that person, and that person took it away, and then he smashed his Ayadeva's eye and with a rock, and right in front of him. At that point, Ayadeva had a moment of sort of miserliness and a sense of what a pity, he didn't use it, and I donated it, but he didn't take it well. He didn't use it, and so he had this sense of cherish and keep it in the sense of keeping. And then at the moment, because of he had that. The moment of miserliness, and then according to the legend, and he never be able to regain his eye. And so this again, it tells the levels of and the practice. It determines the your levels of spiritual advance. It determines how well you can perform, and this giving away and bodily everything to others and sentient being in the state of meditative stability.
근데 저 베일 야고진 정거지라 몸잖아. 배나 교랑 삽다 정고구나. 삽다 때라 샘체지도 장네 때네 살자딘다네 칸도고도 kana khamba kawa karanduze 민지지 고르마도 아니 샘때 히식도 마양아치니 샘실과 양아당안에 샘 마듭지니 나 삽다티 코랑 삽다티 코랑 솔로마당나 티근 뭐 ting일인지 듣고 말와 어떤 지 말이 한통세도 티근 어다 데데데데 세트 셔르 비치던 거다 신이 세트 티 샘체지도 삽다티가 네다들 따다들
Yeah. So let me just give you a quick example, and like the difference between the shine or the karma abiding in the meditative stability with the special insight of vipassana. The difference is this. So if you travel somewhere, you need a GPS or you need a map. So the map, and your mind focus on the map, right, or GPS, and without being distracted or disturbing, and so that very focused mind, which constantly pay attention to the on the map, right, and without being distracted, that is the karma abiding, or shine, and then the mind. At the same time, there's a from the mind where it's recognized. The recognition of that very unique features of the map and where it's leading to, right? What's the represent to, and the represent each sort of a change of the line or street or whatever, and that recognition, clear recognition, is a special insight. Yeah. start with dedication prayers. Aku nggak ini nggak gue baca gue ngaca dulu.
Los. Akal kok jema ngado 드려요 말고.
그지 제마라 된다니까 dulu.
그래서 클럽다. 드다나 ngado jema 자니만 드려 메시.
Oh yeah. So, just quick announcement, and it just happens occasionally that he has something else to do, so therefore he will cancel next Sunday's class, and I will be in Boston next Sunday anyway.
야, 뭐 됐다. 스티시 챕터 지우야. 나서.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Tazo Ningar Pami Tanji La Kaje Shenpo Guni Jizong Kasong Tuji Nida Zanda So Changzhi Sencho Rambo Shi Maji Wane Jijir Jijawa Nyamba Yang Kongde Kongde Peor Sho Kangri Ravi Kurvi Shankam Pendang Dewa Mali Yongwe Ni Chani Zang Tanzan Jiangsu Order Tanjir Chi Jabo Bao Jadra Kemba Tang Kunda Song Tian Dejin De Deta Kandi Jis Dalo Shir Kiwa De Do Tamje Rab De Ngo Dism Shapi Jawa Tamche Ji Hoa Kangla Chote Ngaba De Tajin Givi Sawa De Ko Ngo Chushi Rab De Ngo Ji Pandi Jungdi Damba Darshan Ji Tanzen Ji Wo Tamche Kungkang Zang Li Jen Kanla Derjin Jungwi
Sanje
Tamba Dode Jijir Ji Tsere Kunde Jawa Tsongka We Tajo Shimeng Isin Zabi Yere Ngabe Langzang Denye Le Kachi Zayang Dobar Ma
Manjuro Chi